Hey everyone, welcome back. Episode 5 of the Tall T saga. Still working on a bunch of tin work and in a little bit different spot here. I'm out in the open part of my shop and trying to keep the dust out. Doesn't help much, but it is what it is. It's hotter than blazes again. September 2nd, we're still 30 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know, 85. Way too hot for old fat guys anyhow. So what I'm working on is this piece of tin that goes up from the floor of the cab over the kick up and around the battery box area. So I have it, I put a bead in, little raised area. Lighting's probably not real great here. And I broke the bottom and this edge here that takes it back. What I'm working on right now is this, the opening that goes into the battery box. It's going to have a hinge door on it for access for storage and everything. And I'm just breaking these edges for the opening so it goes down to the top of the battery box. And what's happened here is, because it's an inside breakdown, I can't use my brake, so I'm using my trusty piece of I-beam and a hammer. And if you can see from here, I'll get you down, I got quite a curve in that piece over there. And what I've done is somehow I've stretched that. I'm going to have to take it to my shrinker and straighten it. I'll shrink the piece that goes down to get it nice and straight again, and see if I can get that nice and square. So I still have one more piece to go right here. I'm going to get it set up on my piece of I-beam. I use a piece of 3/4 inch tubing clamped down on top to hold it square. And I can't quite figure out why that stretched on me. There's a channel that I watched. It's called Fitzy's Fabrication. It's another Canadian guy. He's from Newfoundland. He does everything with simple tools, kind of like I do, only he's a lot better at it. He does some really cool projects, so check him out if you want. He's kind of fun to watch, and his videos are pretty long. If you're into that. So anyhow, I'm going to break this other one, and then I'm going to take it to the shrinker stretcher here and get it straightened out. Hey guys, kind of worked myself into a corner here and had a hell of a time trying to figure out what to do about it. Using the flat side of my I-beam worked great for this side because I had nothing in the way. On this side I have a 90-degree bend in the way. So I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to get around this. And what I ended up doing was cutting a couple of D notches in the top of the I-beam so that I could put a C-clamp in with my piece of tubing on top to clamp it. Now I've got to beat this down nice and evenly so I don't do what I did here. So I'm going to keep pounding away on this, and I'll bring you back. So we're back here. It's the next day. I've got this piece all fit. I have all the holes drilled on the bottom here for 1024 truss head screws. I've got the frame rail, or the floor 1x2 tubing is tapped for the 1024 screws. It fit really well. I'm about 1/8 of an inch larger all the way around with the opening in the floor here. You can see over in the corners, because this is an inside cut, I either had to cut a 45 before I folded it down or cut a 90. And I figured it would be easier to fit little squares in there than to try and cut 45s on a 90-degree piece. So I got to take it out now, clamp it down on a perfectly flat surface, make some little squares to fill in those holes, and TIG weld them in. Then I can carry on with the rear section of the trunk floor here. Hey guys, it's been a couple days here, still working on the Tall T project. I figured before I take you and show you what I've got done, I'll explain why I didn't do a bunch of videoing on it, and we'll have a safety, excuse me, safety third moment here. As you can see, I got a couple bandaged up fingers, and I hate band-aids. But what happened was I put a new zip disc on my angle grinder to cut a piece of steel, and I haven't had an issue for many years, and I guess a guy gets a little complacent. So anyhow, what happened was this one came through the thumb when I was turning it on and cut next to the fingernail down to the bone. And then when it kicked out of my hand, I went to grab it with this hand, and this is the bad one. It went around my finger from the top to the bottom, and now I got some stitches and some pretty sore fingers. It cut through the glove on the finger next, but only put a little nick in my finger. So guys, watch you don't get complacent when you're using zip discs. They can be really dangerous. They're so thin they just cut like crazy. So anyhow, enough of that crap. I'll show you what we got done. I've been real busy. It's been really tough trying to video and work on it at the same time because of the finger situation. So what I've got at the back here, I had to build this filler panel to go in and come up high enough to cover the fuel tank and the filler. There's going to be a trap door put in the top here for access to all of the lines on the tank, the sending unit, as well as a hole to get at the filler cap on it. So this piece I have all bent. I have to do a little trimming here and drill some more holes. I'm going to put 1024 truss head screws and rivet nuts to hold this piece in. This is all going to be removable. I don't know why I'm doing it that way. It could be welded in just as easy. So I'll show you from the front side here. So I put this raised area in as an accent on this piece, and I did the same on the rear piece here. Those pieces are all clecoed in and ready to go. I've started on the side panels over here. They run from top to bottom. There's a 90-degree bent on the bottom edge that's bolted with 2 1/4-inch bolts to the actual floor frame of the car. I've got a couple of self-tapping screws in, just holding the panel to the door frame for now. And I'm going to start working on the top transition piece that'll go into that row of bolts on the body line over there. I've got both sides done to that point. It took way longer to make the beer case CAD template than it did to build the panels. So this panel here, I'm going to make a rolled edge that comes in and bolts to a couple of these bolts on the seam. It's going to get pulled in to put a little shape in it, which will stop it from oil canning and rattling. Now down here, because this piece, I had no idea how the side panels were going to go. I have a gap on both sides, and it changes when I pull this in. So the next thing is making these 2 top pieces, 1 for each side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a 90-degree, and I'm going to shape it to get plug welded to the side panel, and then the top piece can get bolted to it with rivet nuts and truss head screws. Then I'm going to cut a patch panel to fill in this gap, and I'll set it on and I'll cut and butt it in so I get a really nice weld on it. So guys, I'm going to leave this for now. I'll be back and show you a little bit more progress and hopefully heal up a little bit, and I'll be able to videotape a little easier. So anyhow guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Be safe out there.